Good evening, and thank you for having me, Father Noel, for having me come tonight and give you my testimony on finding spirituality. And I will say that I was, from a young age, I was born in South America, Venezuela to be exact, and my parents are Americans. My father is a Catholic. My mother is a Methodist. She being of Scottish descent, and my father being of Slavic descent. So in my youth, I can remember once being in the movie theater um, in Venezuela. And it wasn't a theater, it was an outdoor theater. And we were watching um, a biblical movie. And the gentleman came down off of the mount with this scroll that he had, or not a scroll, but a tablet. And it was the Ten Commandments. And that was a profound moment for me as a child. I must have been about 8 years old or so. And when I saw that, I knew that there was something much larger than myself. Um, Fast forward a little bit, now going on to the ninth and 10th year of my life, my father would take us into the Amazon jungle. And we were able to visit with indigenous uh, peoples. And one thing they did was they would take us out and show us how, not how they hunt so much as to how they read the signs in nature. And in doing that, I realized that there was a lot more to life than just going to school, being a young man. I saw that I was part of this nature that I was observing, and that somehow or another I felt that I really fit in there. And I could hear the birds, and I could see the beauty, and I could see the miracle of it. And in listening to these indigenous people explain some of their beliefs in their nature and how they would awaken in the morning and their day would begin, and they really never thought of yesterday or tomorrow. They would live in the moment, and I could identify with that. And the reason why was because it was experiential. I could feel the experience. In turn, at 8 or 9 years old, when I would go to school, I would see all the things that they would teach us. However, I didn't experience those things. So it was hard for me to identify. I could identify with the iguana in the tree. I could identify with the bird. I could identify with the parrot that would eat the fruit that we would leave in the tree for. Um, and this led me to understand that there was a deeper connection. When I came to the United States in the early 60s, I went to a Methodist boys' school, and that was rather difficult for me. Um, I became quite rebellious, actually, and I really didn't feel that connection anymore. And then my parents moved to Miami, Florida, and on my junior year, I moved back into the home with them and went to school in Miami. And at that time, I got involved with growing up, becoming a young man, I guess, and um, I became interested in other things and had lost that feeling that I had as a child. Wow, I have spent, I would say, 8 years or so um, in Miami. And one day I decided that I wasn't uh, I wasn't a candidate to bear arms and uh, kill human beings. So I went back to Venezuela for another 10 years. And upon arriving in Venezuela, I took a trip to Colombia where I met an indigenous uh, tribe, and they lived high up into the mountain. And they had a word in their language. It was called Malani Dwe, which means brother of higher consciousness. And in conversing with them, I realized that there was a connection there that was unlike any other connection I'd ever had. There were times when we really didn't speak, but yet you understood. You understood the purpose of your existence. You understood your connection with nature, your connection with another human being. You understood that this revolved around love and respect and compassion. And in staying with those Indians, I changed in a way that I realized that in this universe, in this cosmos that we live in, we are all connected at one point in time. That there is no beginning and there is no end. That the cosmos flows, and we, as human beings, what we do is we find our basic true selves, and we do that through love. Um, there were times when, in our discussions, when he would tell me about another indigenous population that lived down in Ecuador, and they too lived in the high mountain, and they would communicate, not by telephone, not by mail or anything like that. They communicated because they had a universal way of doing it. And that was my introduction to, I don't want to say shamanism, but what I want to say is the unhampered, unhindered, natural being of the human state without having all of these things that we have today that distract us from who we really are and what our experience is here on the earth. And those things for me were very experiential. And in understanding that, I realized that, this was something that I could believe in, something that I could have faith in. Come years later, I had the opportunity to hit a very low bottom. And in hitting that low bottom, I realized that there wasn't anything outside of myself that could fix my situation at that time, and that it had to come from inside of me. And that set me on a journey of now really finding out not only who I am, not my only my place in the world, but it also set me on a journey to find out who and how we all human beings, all sentient beings in this cosmos connect. And what I found is that we connect in ways that are indescribable in a way because they don't have to be said, they don't have to be felt, they don't have to be received. They're just given naturally from the heart. And from that heart stems all, for me, all positive motions, all positive attributes, all positive feelings and thoughts that help to just add just a little bit to that universal cosmic love. And that's what I practice today. I have a universal God. I have a universal life. I have a universal love. And that nurtures me to continue on a path that allows me to see my place, this little space that I have, this little place that I abide in, how I can benefit others. Because in benefiting others, I benefit myself. And when it comes to the, the immense power of this universal love, I believe that that is the reason why this world is still holds together, because deep down inside of every sentient being is that feeling of being home, of having faith that those who stand beside ourselves has those same feelings. And because we share that, we add strength to all other beings to continue on a path of spreading love, joy, and peace. And through that, I too will receive the same. So, in ending, I would say when I reach in my pocket to take something out to hand to the next person I meet, God is already putting his hand in my pocket to replace the exact right thing I need to go forward and keep spreading what he wants me to do. Thank you.